Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I welcome you on today's session, and today's session would be about a very special incarnation of Lord, which is Lord Nrisimhadev, and and a very pure devotee of Nrisimhadev, who is Prahlada Maharaj. Now, so let's start. So to set the context of uh, why uh, Nrsimhadev appeared on this earth was because there was a king by the name of Hiranyakashipu, and he was uh, he was very demoniac in nature, and he had caused too much of anxiety, too much of upheaval on the planet Earth, and 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 more than that, he also caused trouble to his son, to his own son, so much so that the king Hiranyakashipu want to kill his son because his son was a very pure devotee of Lord Vishnu or Lord Nrsimhadev. So because of Hiranyakashipu making too much upheaval on the earth, and because he caused so much trouble to his son, a pure devotee of Lord. So Lord Nrsimhadev appeared. But there are some things which we can learn from how Hiranyakashipu acted, and how the current world and how people in general are acting. So the first thing which Hiranyakashipu did was he was killing brahmanas, he was killing cows, he was chopping. He had ordered, because he was a king, so he had ordered all his soldiers, his mercenaries, that they should not only kill, destroy the Brahminical culture, but they should also destroy the vegetations, the tree. They should rip down the trees. They should cause massive damage on the planet Earth, because Hiranyakashipu knew that these are the basis of a Vedic society. These are the basis. So the Brahmanas, the cows, they are the basis of all the yagyas and all the injunctions, all the scriptural injunctions, because Lord is too much concerned about the well-being of Brahmanas and the cows. So Hiranyakashipu was categorically trying to destroy the Brahminical society, so that there is no one to instruct on how to perform in yagyas. And because from cows come various ingredients that are used for those yagyas, so he also wanted to kill the cows. And this is also something which we see in today's world, that there is no emphasis on developing a section of the society, or the pre there is no concern about taking care of the priestly section of the society, who can educate the rest of the society about what the scriptural injunctions are, and what the various what are the various duties of human beings are. So we can see this parallel between what Hiranyakashipu did and what is happening. The next thing was he wanted to. The next thing which Hiranyakashipu did was he wanted to be the king of this entire universe. He wanted to be the controller of this entire universe. And we see that through our activities we are also doing something like this, not may not be at an individual level, but at societal level, or at a country level, at a nation level. We see that we are also trying to do many things. One of the examples which I'd say is about creating a society where there is more emphasis on a particular profession, or where there is more emphasis on a particular section of the society, where which is causing neglect of the other sections of the society. For example, uh, there is not much emphasis on taking care of the people who are farmers, or who are uh, taking care of cows, taking care of the forests. But there is more focus on if people are working in a multi nation corporate organization. There is more focus on the people who are living in the cities. There is seemingly less focus on professions which are not so much money making. And this is also this is one of the example. The other example is that we are trying to make a society uh, where there is more focus on the human population, and that is why we are we are not so concerned about the animals or the trees or the plants in general. And that's why we see to establish cities, to establish towns, there is a drive of massive deforestation. Dams are being built. At the same time, the species that were inhabiting that particular area where the dam was built, they got displaced because of building of dams or building of cities and so on. So we are also trying to play with the ecosphere of of the various regions of the earth. So in these ways, we can understand that these are also the traits which Hiranyakashipu had. And one most important thing is that Hiranyakashipu also wanted to be immortal, and to do that, he he did penances for hundreds and thousands of years. And the severity of penance was so uh, that there was a lot of heat that was emanating from his body, and so much so that the entire all the 14 planets within the universe were getting moved by the tremendous amount of heat that was getting generated out of his body, because he was doing so much severe penances. And and he was calling out Brahmadev, and Brahmadev had to come down to planet Earth to see who was worshipping, who was doing such severe penances. And uh, he saw that Hiranyakashipu was doing so, and then Hiranyakashipu asked for a boon so that he could become immortal. But Brahmaji said that I myself am not immortal. Then how can I give you immortality? So Hiranyakashipu asked for that. Okay, if you cannot give me immortality, give me a boon that I am not killed either in the day or at night. I am not killed either by a human being or by an animal. I am not killed either in the sky or on the earth. I am not killed either by the demigods or by the lower species. And Brahmaji bestowed all these boons, and Hiranyakashipu thought that by asking all the combinations by which I can be defeated, by all asking for all the benedictions uh, by which I can be challenged, I have actually sought immortality. So this is also something we are trying to do. Uh, we are trying to increase the lifespan of the body, but we are not thinking. We fail to understand that this body is constantly changing. So this body is going to die, but we are not this body and we are the souls, so we need to think about the souls. So this is also one thing, that we are also trying to achieve immortality, but we are trying to do it in an incorrect fashion. We should be thinking about the soul and not the body. So so we'll move ahead in the in this story, that Hiranyakashipu got the boon of such immortality, and he carried on all the destructive activities. He kept ordering to kill cows. He kept ordering the brahmanas, and it continued. Now, at the same time, when Hiranyakashipu was away doing his penances, all the demigods felt that now it's a good time. We should attack on his kingdom, and we should take control of his wife. And Hiranyakashipu's wife was pregnant, and uh, the demigods wanted to kill the baby as soon as the baby is born, but Narada Muni stopped, and that's why we see here that Narada Muni is stopping the demigods and saying that you shouldn't kill the baby, because the baby is going to be a great devotee of the Lord. Because with my vision, I can see he's a very exalted devotee of the Lord, so you shouldn't kill him, and also you should spare the mother, and I would take care of them. They can live in they can live under my shelter, and I would ensure uh, that no harm is done to them. So with this, Narada Muni uh, started instructing uh, the the wife of Hiranyakashipu, and because the son uh, the son was still within her womb, so he also got those instructions. And when Prahlad Maharaj grew up, so his the son was Prahlad Maharaj, as we would later on know. So Prahlad Maharaj would later recollect that how he got the instructions from Narada Muni when he was still in the womb of the mother. So there's a very important instruction that as a child is uh, is about to come onto this earth, if the mother is given good instructions, then that also has a reflection, or that also makes an impact, an imprint on the upcoming baby. And there are also various revelations which Prahlad Maharaj makes. Some of them I have captured here. So first thing he mentions is the importance of a spiritual teacher. And there's also no brainer that if we want to learn something, then we need a teacher. We cannot learn it by ourselves. Let it be any discipline, we know that we need to go to proper institution. We need to go to proper a school or a university where that is taught, that subject is taught, because the teacher know that subject a lot more than we can understand by just reading the books. So Prahlad Maharaj emphasizes that it was because of Narada Muni that he his life was changed. So that was first thing. Then he mentions that the association of devotees is also a very important aspect. Association of like-minded souls. So, for example, if you want to pick up a skill, want to pick up some good traits, then you would be associating with the like-minded people. For example, if you want to learn a musical instrument, then you would associate with people who are either learning that instrument or who have been learning that musical instrument. Similarly, if we want to understand the science of who we are and what is the duty of our what is our true identity, what is our true duty, then we have to associate with such people who are also trying to understand this truth and also trying to mold their lives according to it. So that was the second thing which he mentioned, that associating with devotees is very important. Then also he makes a very important point that we need to have faith. So again, if we want to learn something, one thing is that we have to go to that capable teacher or capable professor to understand that subject. But the second thing, and the thing which we need is that faith. We need to have faith that that particular teacher is going to teach me that subject. Or if I'm doing business with someone, I have to have faith on that other individual, that the person with whom I'm doing business, he would also return in good faith. So faith is important. Faith, we always have faith on various things, on various people, on various sources. But important thing is that we don't have faith on scriptures. We don't have faith on our cultural identity. We don't have faith on what is there mentioned in books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is important that we have faith. So faith is essential. And then, of course, the two key aspects of the science is that we are not the body and we are the soul, and which we have realized through various experience in our life, that we are actually not the body, we are the soul. And finally, Prahlad Maharaj recollects the most important instruction which he received from Narad Muni was that the most important duty of our lives is to serve lotus feet of Lord Govinda, because he is the supreme Lord, and by serving him, by day in and day out serving Lord Govinda, we would be able to rekindle that relationship with Supreme Lord, and we would be able to get out of this cycle of birth and death. So this is the most important instruction which he received, and this is what he also mentions is the only goal of life. Now, so as now the story moves to the point that Prahlad Maharaj and his mother goes back to the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu, and Prahlad Maharaj starts growing up, and Hiranyakashipu also wanted his son to be a very ideal demon, just like him, and that's why he sent Prahlad Maharaj to a school where there were demon teachers, and they taught all the students how to become very good demons. So, so Prahlad Maharaj used to instruct all his classmates with whatever he has learned during the intervals, or when the teacher was away. He used to share all whatever he has learned from Narad Muni with all his classmates. So we will quickly go through some of those teachings. We touched upon a few on the previous slide. We will go through some of them more. So the first thing which he mentions is that on our journey on or to back to God, it is very important that start we start inculcating the spirit of serving Lord from very early from early stage, because first thing is human life comes after lot many millions of births. So out of 84 lakh species, there are only few out of all those species, only 4 lakh species are of human births. But even in those 4 lakh species, not all are that much intelligent to take up this path to understand this philosophy. So human life is very rare. So whatever time span we have to use it very judiciously, and that's why we should the children, even from the age of 5, Prahlad Maharaj says that one should be one should be given the training uh, of reading books, reading Bhagavad Gita, and uh, taught the science of worshipping Lord, and so on. And the other thing is, because human life is the only life where we can cross over this cycle of birth and death. So starting early is very important. The next thing which he mentions is that we need to keep away from sense gratification. And sense gratification for different ages can be different in nature, but a common thing is that it always causes a waste of time. So for children, the sense gratification would be playing with toys. Once a child grows up and enters a boyhood, for him playing uh, spending a lot of time outside playing, and is a kind of sense gratification. But again, it's a wastage of time. And and so on and so forth. So in every age group there is something which gratifies the senses, but ultimately it doesn't do good, doesn't do much good. And then finally, the core problems of life, that why we are born, why we are going through all these difficulties, why we have to uh, go through the separation of loved ones. So all these problems of life are not solved by the objects of sense gratification. Sense gratification can give one temporary happiness, but it doesn't solve the problem. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj instructs that we should be keeping away from sense gratification. Then he also touches on a point that the education which we are receiving in the schools is not enough. So by education, we can we can uh, we can get a high paid job, okay, but the activities of a person who has got various degrees is not much different from a, s- uh, a living being in other species. So that's why I've mentioned it's these are so whatever we are doing, for example, we are also eating, but maybe we are having a 5 course meal, okay, but the animals are having just uh, are eating maybe once or twice a day, okay. We are sleeping on a very comfortable mattress. The animals are sleeping just on the ground, or wherever they get some place to lay down. We are defending our nations by modern weapons, modern technology, biowarfare, and so on. And animals are using claws, nails, teeth, and so on. So, if we see that even after earning so many degrees and making so many advancement in education, there is not much difference in what the activities we are doing. So, the humans are also eating, sleeping, defending, and the animals are also doing so. So, simply this education won't help. The education about what is our true identity, why, and what are the duties of that living being, and what would help one to get rid of these problems is something which is needed. So that's why he says that worldly education is not going to solve all the problems. Then he further instructs his classmates that serving Supreme Lord is the solution to all our problems. It's so because that you are always on, you and me and every living being is eternally related with Supreme Lord. And Supreme Lord or Lord Krishna is Father, the well-wisher of all living beings. So it is our eternal duty to serve our Supreme Father. Just like it's a duty of every son and daughter to serve their biological parents. Similarly, it is a duty of every living being to serve Supreme Lord. So that's why it's a supreme fact that we should be, every living being should be serving Supreme Lord. Now, next thing is that this service to Supreme Lord is not restricted to age, or it's not restricted to a specific societal group. It's not that ki after you attain a certain age only then you should read Bhagavad Gita. No, it's not like that. You have to start taking the preparation from very early age. For example, for an exam, we go through the entire syllabus, take many tests, take many mock sessions, and then we sit for the final exam. Similarly, the death, which is going to test or which is going to give us the final result for that examination, we have to prepare our entire life. That's why we have to start early. And more important is that at any stage we can start. I mean, even a child of 2 years old or 3-year old can start. And how he can start? He could chant the names of the Lord. He can hear about these pastimes of the Lord. He can look at these pictures and try to do the paintings or sketches of Lord. So in this way he would start serving Supreme Lord. He would start knowing about Supreme Lord, and he would gradually have an affection or an attachment towards Supreme Lord. So that's why it's not restricted to a age. And also there is no criteria that only the priestly people or the people who have been born in so-called Brahmin families should be serving Lord, because Lord is the father to all the living beings. It's not he's father only to Brahmins and he's not fathers to the Kshatriyas. It's not like that. So that's why everyone should be serving Supreme Lord. And finally, because Lord is the Supreme Father, so he's not partial to anyone. He's not self-centric like people in today's world are. So, and because he's so much affectionate, so pleasing Lord is very easy. So that's why, because of all these reasons, at whatever juncture and whatever social condition anyone is, he should start serving Supreme Lord. Then he also mentions that for a devotee of Supreme Lord, nothing is impossible, because a devotee is serving Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of who is Lord of everything. So Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita that Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. So he is the reservoir of all happiness, eternity, and knowledge. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adi Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. So Govinda is the beginning of all the beginnings. He doesn't have a beginning, but he's the cause and he's the cause of all causes. So he's the reservoir of everything. So once a devotee is uh, or a person is devoted to Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of everything, then for that devotee also there is nothing which is out of reach. Now we can understand it by an example, and that is that if you or someone know a very powerful personality who has so much of influence in the society, then just by your association with that powerful person, uh, you would be having access to so many things. I mean, many of your asks or many of the things which you want to get done would happen so easily, because you know a person who is so influential. And we all have experiences of this fact. Okay, so similarly, if we are connected to Supreme Lord, if we are devoted to Supreme Lord, then for that devoted soul, nothing would be impossible. And the another thing is that a devotee never asks for material benefit, because he knows that he is not material himself, because he is the soul. And Lord is also reservoir of the Lord is also transcendental. So the devotee doesn't ask for like give me good money, give me a comfortable house to live in, give me give me a lot many followers. So he doesn't ask for these material things, because for a devotee he gets the diamond, so he doesn't ask for stones or pebbles. Okay, so that's why a devotee gets everything, but he doesn't ask for those things. He is just devoted to Supreme Lord. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj was instructing his schoolmates, but uh, but his father Hiranyakashipu, the great demon king, came to know about all of these things. So Hiranyakashipu was so disturbed that uh, Hiranyakashipu himself thought to be the lord of everything, because now he had such a boon, and no one was able to kill him or defeat him. And his own son was worshipping Vishnu. So that caused him a lot of pain in his heart. So that's why he wanted to get rid of Prahlad. So what he did was, he once it so happened, so he devised all ways to kill Prahlad Maharaj. So once he made Prahlad Maharaj uh, sit in front of a mad elephant, and he wanted the mad elephant to pulverize Prahlad Maharaj. But Prahlad Maharaj was totally devoted to Supreme Lord, and he was totally surrendered to Supreme Lord. So it so happened that elephant just bowed down in front of Prahlad Maharaj and didn't do any harm. Similarly, another thing which he tried to do was he left Prahlad Maharaj in a dungeon which was full of poisonous snakes. So here we can see uh, Prahlad Maharaj is sitting on the right, and he is being surrounded by all snakes, very poisonous snakes. But Prahlad Maharaj was so much surrendered to Lord, and this is a devotee's consciousness. So Prahlad Maharaj was thinking that these snakes are related to my Supreme Lord, because my Supreme Father, Lord Vishnu, lays down on a bed which is lays down on the snake's coil. So who is known by the name of Anantadev, who has thousands of hoods, um, and and is Lord Balrama himself. So my father, my Supreme Father, lays down on the bed of snakes. So why should I fear these snakes? So this is how a devotee is, that even amidst greatest difficulty, he is always thinking that this is a mercy of the Supreme Lord. This is related to a Supreme Lord. On another occasion, Prahlad Maharaj was made to sit within the fire, and Prahlad Maharaj, as usual, he was always focused on chanting the names of Lord Vishnu, and he was sitting in the fire, but and with whom he was sitting, Holika, or sister of Hiranyakashipu, she had a boon that she could sit in the fire, but whatever anything else she would sit with, that thing would be uh, would burn in the flames. But it so happened that Holika got burnt, but Prahlad Maharaj was unharmed. So Prahlad Maharaj later said that the fire was so cooling, appeared so cooling to me, because this fire is the mouth of my father. So how can I be harmed in the fire? Now, because uh, Lord Vishnu is the acceptor of all the yagyas, so that's why it is said that the pit of the fire in which the in which the yagya is carried out, it is considered to be the mouth of Lord Vishnu. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj says, that this fire is the mouth of Lord Vishnu. Then why should I be having any problems sitting in the fire? It felt so cool. Then another time, Prahlad Maharaj was made to drink poison, and Prahlad Maharaj drank it very happily. And then, as usual, nothing happened to Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj says later that this poison is actually my uncle, because my father is Lord Vishnu and my mother is my mother is Mother Lakshmi, and uh, we know that Mother Lakshmi emerged when the ocean was churned, and prior to that, uh, a, a very poisonous substance named as halahal emerged from the same ocean, from the same churning of the ocean event. So in this way, he connected the poison with Mother Lakshmi, because uh, Mother Lakshmi also appeared from the ocean, and the poison also appeared from the ocean. So that's why he says that this poison is actually my mother's elder brother. So why should I be killed by the poison? He is my uncle. So this is a devotee's perception, that even amidst any difficulties, even amidst the greatest difficulties, he tries to think that, oh, so there is a mercy of the Lord, that this is I was supposed to be punished much more harder, but due to the mercy of the Lord, that the tone of the punishment has been uh, minimized. So, and this punishment is actually for my own purification. So in this way, devotee always thinks everything to be a mercy of Lord, everything to be a in everything he sees the hand of the Supreme Lord. And this is how a devotee is always can always step over all the miseries, all the troubles of his life. Now, when all these means didn't work to kill Prahlad Maharaj, so uh, what Hiranyakashipu did was that Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill Prahlad Maharaj himself. So one day Hiranyakashipu was saying that you always say that your Supreme Lord is everywhere. Then today I am going to kill you, and I will see whether your Supreme Lord comes to protect you or not. So So Hiranyakashipu had taken his mace, and uh, he was about to strike Prahlad Maharaj, but at the same time, Nrisimhadev, or the half man, half lion incarnation of Lord Vishnu, appeared from one of the pillars, and he was so for some minutes, Hiranyakashipu was so stunned to see such a gigantic form. So he sees that there is a half man, half lion form, and he has all. So he has a very big mane like that of a lion, and he has nails, but at the same time he has these gigantic legs. And in Shastras, it is said that Lord Nrsimhadev was so tall that his hair, his mane was actually touching his touching the clouds. So so how gigantic he was. Shastras give a estimation. Although Hiranyakashipu was also big, but compared to Lord Nrsimhadev, Hiranyakashipu was appearing to be like a ant. But anyways, and Nrsimhadev was very angry because Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad Maharaj in so many ways, and he was so much bursting in anger, and red hot. His eyes were red hot, and there was uh, his very warm breath gushing out of his mouth. And seeing this, Hiranyakashipu was stunned for a moment, but at the next moment, but after collecting himself, he took up his shield and he took up his sword, uh, and he jumped towards Lord Nrsimhadev. And then uh, a kind of a furious battle raged between the two, and this is also pastime of Lord, that sometimes Lord wants to play in this mood. I mean, he wants to fight, and then he gives his opponent a chance to have a equal fight. And that's why we read in Shrimad Bhagavatam that for some time this fight raged between Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsimhadev. So sometimes Hiranyakashipu made an attack, and then he just vanishes out. And then after some time, when he appears, then uh, Lord Nrsimhadev catches him, and then um, gives him um, gives him a move, and then again uh, Hiranyakashipu moves out of his hand, and then again tries to make another attempt. So this happened for some time, but after some time, actually at an opportune time, uh, Lord Nrsimhadev grabbed hold of Hiranyakashipu, and he put him on his lap. And so the time was, it was actually dusk. It was not the day and not night, because this was also one thing which Hiranyakashipu asked, that I shouldn't be killed, not I shouldn't be killed in the day or in the night. So it was the dusk moment, or in the evening period, when Hiranyakashipu was picked up by Lord Nrsimhadev. And Lord Nrsimhadev used his nails to puncture his stomach and take out his to kill him, because Hiranyakashipu had asked that I shouldn't be killed by shastras or astras. So I shouldn't be killed. So by astras and shastras, it means that I shouldn't be killed either by a weapon that can be thrown or a weapon that can be directly used. So he was asking that I shouldn't be killed by swords, or I shouldn't be killed by bows and arrows. But Nrsimhadev used his nails, which is neither astra nor a shastra. Then uh, Hiranyakashipu had asked that I shouldn't be killed either by a man or a demigod or an animal. So Lord Nrsimhadev took this form, which was partly human and partly lion. So it was neither human being nor a demigod nor an animal. So in this way, Lord Nrsimhadev uh, took care of all the boons which Brahmaji has given, and respecting all those boons, then he killed Hiranyakashipu. So this is the beauty of Lord's pastime, that whatever whatever impediments or whatever ways the demoniac wants to escape the Lord gets hold of them, gets he gets away with the boons which they have received. Okay, it's also similarly happened when Lord appeared in form of Lord Ramchandra, and at that time Ravana had taken a boon that he shouldn't either be killed by demigods, or he shouldn't be killed by the higher planetary the by the beings of the higher planetary species. But in that form, because Ravana was so confident that humans are no match to him, so he didn't ask for that boon, that he shouldn't be killed by humans. So in that pastime, Lord took the form of a human being, and he took the help from monkeys. So also Ravana didn't consider the monkeys to be of any match to him. So he never asked for a boon that he shouldn't be killed by monkeys. So Lord Ramchandra took the form of a human being, and he took the help from monkeys to kill the Ravana. So in this way, even in in the form of Nrsimhadev, he ensured that all the boons which Brahmaji have given are respected, and only by respecting all the terms, he delivered Hiranyakashipu. But even after delivering Hiranyakashipu, Nrsimhadev was so angry, he was so ferocious that because Hiranyakashipu was delivered, all the demigods have come to hail Nrsimhadev. So Brahmaji had come, Shivji has come, all Indra has come, and they were welcome, they were congratulating Lord, they were offering their prayers to Lord, but no one was daring to come in front of Nrsimhadev, because Nrsimhadev was so furious, he was so angry. And at that point of time, uh, again, this is the glory of a devotee, that a devotee is all he has so much faith on the Lord, and he doesn't face any circumstance. So even in the Prahlad Maharaj went up to Nrsimhadev, although he was so ferocious. Prahlad Maharaj went up to him, and when Nrsimhadev saw Prahlad Maharaj, his anger was soothed, and at that point of time, Prahlad Maharaj makes very beautiful glorifications of Lord Nrsimhadev, and Nrsimhadev is also pacified hearing all those prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. And this is how Prahlad Maharaj is saved, the entire earth is saved, is delivered from the atrocities of Hiranyakashipu, and peace returns to the universe, and all the demigods are also pleased, because Hiranyakashipu was causing trouble to everyone. And this is why uh, the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj are recited even after billions and billions of years, because they are filled with so many teachings. It teaches about how we should always be God centric, how we should always take care of the Brahminical culture, how we should. From these glorifications of Prahlad Maharaj, there are various spiritual truths that are revealed. So these, from an instruction point of view, this pastime is so important, and also there is an inner meaning of uh, of behind this pastime, which is that for in every devotee's life, or for every devotee, there are Hiranyakashipus which are within and without. So what does it mean? It means that for an every aspiring devotee, there are things like greed, lust, and envy which can capture a devotee's heart. So those are those internal enemies or Hiranyakashipus that is stopping the devotee from progressing towards Lord. And of course, there are external agencies or things which are beyond the control of the devotee, and which are also causing disruption towards his path towards Lord. So, for example, there are people who are harassing the devotee, or there are situations which are causing which are bringing troubles to the life of the devotee, so which is stopping him to do devotional service. And because there are evils, or there are agents which are stopping a devotee towards progressing towards Supreme Lord, that is why devotee should take active shelter of Nrsimhadev, because Nrsimhadev is an incarnation, or Nrsimhadev has that feeling of uprooting all those evils, whether those evils are sitting within that aspiring devotee, like as I said, there is a greed, or there is some envy, or there is anger, there is lust. So these are all negative qualities which stops a devotee towards progressing towards Lord. So Nrsimhadev not only so Nrsimhadev kills or removes all these internal impediments, or one's habits which are detrimental towards service of Lord. And then Nrsimhadev also protects the devotee from those external impediments. Like there are people who are harassing the devotee, or there is a situation which is going to cause harm to the devotee. So Nrsimhadev protects the devotee from all kinds of impediments, and Nrsimhadev helps one to progress towards himself, towards the Lord. So that's why we should all, whoever is aspiring to get out of this cycle of birth and death, whoever is aspiring to serve Supreme Lord, he should take shelter of Nrsimhadev. And also, coming 25th of May is the day which is considered to be the appearance day of Lord Nrsimha, so which is known by the name of Nrsimha Chaturdashi. And uh, and as a respect towards Nrsimhadev, and as a way to remember Lord Nrsimhadev, we can hold fast to maybe till the evening, or if not possible till noon. We can hold a fast, and we can recollect about the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsimhadev. And if someone is interested, I can also share the link of where he can read about these pastimes and the prayers which Prahlad Maharaj made for Nrsimhadev. And this is how we can spend that day of 25th May, which is Tuesday, uh, remembering Nrsimhadev, taking shelter of Nrsimhadev, aspiring to be a better devotee of Lord Nrsimhadev, and thus making our lives uh, committed towards moving or progressing towards our Supreme Father. So, with this, I would close today's session. I hope you found it very insightful. And if you have any questions, do let me know on my WhatsApp number, which is there mentioned on the page. Thank you, and Hare Krishna.